Shrug family, this week on Barbell Shrugged, Coach Flavia Pereira. That's Portuguese. I did it. I think I did it well. I can do a little bit of Spanish. You throw some Portuguese in the mix, things get really crazy. So I think I nailed it. I'm giving myself a 9.1 out of 10. Pereira. Anyways, Coach Flavia is a nutritionist here at Rapid Health Optimization, and we love having her. Not only is she super awesome, but she is currently in her PhD program, and one of the papers that was just published that she just put out is the top 5 high-performance supplements, and we're going to be digging into those supplements, that paper, where you can find these supplements, what they are, how much to take, how you're going to be benefiting from them, and as always, friends, we have a little bit of a switch up today. Rapid Health Report still exists. Go there, do that. But aratelab.com. We have actually named the program. 3+ years into this company, we have finally actually named the program and the thing that we do. We've had a couple different offerings and a couple different programs, and this really has turned into the core offer, what we call Arate. And you can access all things lab testing. You can access the performance analysis that you are going to receive inside the Arate program. aratelab.com. Friends, it's a little different, but all the same goodness, high precision, health and performance. You can access all of that over at aratelab.com. Friends, let's get into the show. Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Anders Varner. Doug Larson, the fastest person on the show inside 800 meters. Coach Travis Mash, the fastest person to run to his mailbox and back. What did we say you were?
10 seconds and less.
Yeah, 10 seconds or less. And then the best nutritionist in the entire planet. Coach Flavia, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
You left yourself out though, Anders. You're the best over a minute.
Rounded, the most slightly above average. That's really where I hang out.
Anything
I'm
above.
very proud of my the grand scale, like a 7 at everything.
At everything. That's impressive. I'm only a 10 at a few things and 1 at everything else. That's it.
I can swim. Yeah. All the things. Coach Flavia, I'm leading this show off with a very, very cool story that happened inside the last 24 hours. One of our clients, we're going to leave his name out of this because he's an epic human being and we can't overwhelm him with all the fan mail that will be coming to him if we announce his name on the show. But you wrote his nutrition plan for him to be hiking up to base camp at Everest. And he said that what you wrote for him or what you talked to him about had him feeling absolutely amazing and energized and recovered, and with the altitude changes and every aspect of it, he had 10 out of 10 enjoyment of that trip, praise for you, and that's going to lead us into you and your performance supplementation podcast that we are about to do today. But round of applause for Coach Flavia. Totally savage nutritionist. But you just had a brand new paper come out, probably 2 months ago, and we want to walk through all of the supplements that you started to, or that you were looking into when it comes to optimizing performance. Where do we start this thing?
Yeah. So first, I want to say thank you for having me. I have been listening to you guys forever. So it's really cool to be here and sharing what I'm researching, my knowledge. Hopefully this is helpful to people and coaches who are listening. So I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. And I also want to say I'm a well-rounded athlete too. So I think I would compete well with you, Anders.
Here we go. But Coach Flavia is by far one of the most athletic coaches we have on the team. Also, if you really wanted to know who's going to jump the highest and be fastest side to side, Coach Flavia, hanging out on the beach, playing beach volleyball, total monster.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes.
Well, the reason I said that, because I was always like a good moderate athlete on different areas, but never like the greatest. So it's kind of like how Travis spoke about you. So I was like, I think I can challenge you then. Yeah. Like I was kind of like you know, fast here, but not the fastest.
Mash tells that story because we were down in Jamaica and out of first off, earlier in that week, I ran the 60 against Johan Blake and
And got
almost beat him
whipped.
for 4 steps. Like
Yeah.
almost beat him in the first four
With
steps.
with a 20-meter head start.
And then we
Okay.
went to this like super remote, had to hike down this weird waterfall type thing. It was
A
beautiful and
beautiful,
terrifying. I thought it was gonna be like the island where you get to the other side of this thing, and all of a sudden there's just like a giant marijuana field and some gangster with a machete, and like it was terrifying and
yeah,
really nice. And then it was like we had this like beautiful open beach all to ourselves,
unbelievable.
and somebody out of nowhere goes, "Anyone want to race across the ocean?" And I went, "Yeah," and I just took off.
And smoked the
Smoked him.
guy. Smoked him. I mean, I was afraid the guy might drown. He was getting beat so badly, but he made it.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's where
not
our
sure I
story
can
comes from.
challenge that.
Oh man,
But
I was amazed.
You were
You
at the
could have lapped
beach.
him.
I was very confident in the water.
You could have
Let's get
lapped
into
him.
it.
Yeah.
Let's get into this thing.
Yeah.
Performance
yes.
supplementation.
So we chose, when I say we, our team, Dr. Antonio, who is our leader, my mentor, and Dr. Jason Curtis, Cassie Evans, Jose Rojas. So they did the paper with me. I cannot take credit for the paper. We
Where
all
was
did.
this? What school?
So we do research with Nova University,
Yeah.
and I teach at Kaiser University, the residential campus, and I'm doing my PhD at Rocky Mountain. So those three schools are affiliated
Right.
with a paper. But this was a review paper. Our goal was to present 5 top supplements that have the most robust evidence, and what should you take them for, who should take them, dosage, and kind of like a little summary of the current evidence. So starting with creatine, which I'm also writing a paper on creatine now. So if you guys have any other questions, you can
Lots of them.
after. Yeah. But I love creatine. Actually, my dissertation will be on creatine as well, beach volleyball players. So so creatine is naturally synthesized by our body, but we get creatine from meat, seafood, and we can get creatine from supplements as well, right? So creatine is well researched, over 30 years of research with creatine, mostly during high intensity interval training or strength power type of exercise. Now we're seeing that creatine can also help in other areas of our health, like city, brain, cognitive function, and even with the aging population. So we used to think that creatine was only important if you want to get a big bicep, right? If you want to get lean body mass, but we see improvements in not just muscle mass, strength power, but we also see improvements in body composition. So there are some studies that show that creatine can body fat or improve, lean body mass in general. There are also some really interesting studies with creatine and cognitive function in sleep-deprived populations. So maybe firefighters or police officers or even students just trying to, study through the night, but sleep-deprived population taking a little bit higher dose than the general dose can help them with cognitive function. In regards to bone density and also brain function, the dosage will be higher. So what is the dosage for standard like performance benefits? 3 to 5 grams per day. Sorry, Doug, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to jump into the cognitive benefits there. I was aware that there was good research showing that creatine could improve cognitive function. Is that truly siloed to sleep deprived people, or is that just like some more recent stuff, but it's more applicable across the board?
Yes, so that's a good question because I think this is a hot topic now. We don't have a lot of studies on to really say with confidence that yes, for everyone. It seems that the benefits that creatine on this higher dosage, close to 10 grams per day, are most beneficial in cognition if you are stressed, which is sleep deprived or extremely stressful situations, or like as well. But if you're just have you sleep, you're sleeping well, you have everything under control, you're not stressed, you're not jet lagged. It doesn't seem like the cognitive benefits are there. Yes. So going back to the supplements, so creatine 3 to 5 grams a day. Safety, there's a lot of evidence on safety of creatine, more than 30 years of research. We make creatine, so it's not like it's something that our body doesn't know. And the form of creatine that we advise taking, and all research is done, is on creatine monohydrate.
Yeah. Yo, guys, when did you start taking creatine? When was like the first time it showed up in your life? Do you remember?
College, for sure. Yeah, Appalachian State. This was like the 90s.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the
You were like a
few
decade
people.
older. Yeah, you're 10. Yeah, so you're that, yeah, college age. Yeah.
I'm one of the few though that it messes up my like GI tract. So like, I would love to find a form where I could take that wouldn't make me like nauseous or like sick. So any thoughts there? Like, I know that, one out of every so few people it can irritate. Maybe, what do you thought? What do you think there?
Yeah, that's interesting. I never met anyone, but I have heard reports of people that may have GI discomfort. The only tip I would give you there is to maybe divide your dosage. So maybe like 2 grams in the morning, 2 grams in the evening, and make sure you're eating with food and see how you feel. Have you
Sweet.
tried that before?
No, and this was college, so who knows? Like I was probably partying, taking it. So like
Eating
maybe
great, right?
like it's like one of those
One of the
things where
substances you were taking.
So who knows what made me sick?
He's over there just brutally hung over.
So you're blaming
He's like, yeah, the
creatine.
creatine just doesn't agree with me. It's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on.
They got to cycle back to
Yeah.
that. It's been 30 years.
I know. I need to try. I literally haven't tried it since then. Even when I was powerlifting, I never
wow.
took it. Other than the amount that might be in my pre-workout, which, I feel like it's in almost every pre-workout you take. So
Sure.
Yeah.
never thought about that.
Yeah.
I seem to tolerate that. Okay. So who knows?
With the 3 to 5 grams being kind of like the standard dose for kind of the sleep deprived populations, where do you think kind of the high end of that dosing is for them?
Yeah, so it seems that if you want creatine to cross the blood-brain barrier, so you get to the brain, you need a higher dosage. Same thing for the, so it's almost like you want to trickle down to other areas of the body. Otherwise, it will be stored in muscle tissue. So if you want bone density benefits and possible brain benefits, or if you are going to travel and you're going to be jet lagged, we want to go with the higher, like 10 grams a day. And there are studies of like 2 years, 3 years, people taking 10 grams a day every day, and all those studies show no adverse effects. So I feel confident telling you, yes, take it for a week, 10 grams is not a big deal. Then if you wanted to just maintain after, you take the 3 to 5 grams. Another dosage that we have been using in the past few years is the 0.1 grams per kilogram. And that's, I don't know how many kilograms you are, Anders, but for me, 60 kilograms, let's say. So
Too many.
Put you right on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I remember like when I was more interested in speed, power, and that type of thing, playing football and what have you. It was always 0.03 grams per kilo. I'm roughly 100 kilos, so that's 3 grams is kind of like the baseline for speed and power. But then I remember when Darren Canada was on the show, he basically said what you're saying right now. He said 10 grams really is the standard, specifically if you're worried about the cognitive benefits, the bone density benefits, independent of speed and power and performance. So 0.1 grams per kilo. Again, for a 100-kilo person, which I'm more like 90 kilos, but we'll just round up to make the math easy. It's really more like 10 grams per day. So that's been my standard ever since. I tend to split it up kind of like you were saying to mash. I do like 5 grams in the morning in my coffee and then try to throw 5 grams in later on in the day.
Wow. That was going to be, that guarantees I'm going to take it every day of my life. It's flavorless. It goes right into the coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Mixes perfectly. There's none of the little crystal crunches things, like
Yeah.
perfectly blends.
Right.
There's got to be like an easy way to
Is that what you do, Doug? You blend it with your coffee? Like you
I blend it. I just dump it in there and just stir it up.
okay, I see what you're
yeah.
saying. Like I might like do you do the I might put the actually blend it with the coffee grounds or the coffee what is it?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Beans,
I would
beans.
I
I would
suppose
go the other way. I would go the other way. Do it
yeah.
in the cup.
Okay.
I just put it
All
straight
right.
in the coffee. I feel like if you put it in the coffee grounds, like you're only going to get a percentage of it. You're not going to get the
Yeah.
whole lot.
Good. Totally. Good point there
Yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah.
gonna stay
Yeah.
up in the filter, man.
Yeah.
That really does make it one of the easiest habits for something that's very beneficial. As far as like supplementing with it, um, is there where if you did not want to, what would be like a protein recommendation or type of food um, that we like if you just have some issue that you just don't want to use supplements, how would we get more of that into our diet so that we don't have to supplement it?
Yeah, so we can find creatine in general meats and seafood. So the population that would really need, even if they are not looking for strength, power, speed benefits, would be vegetarians and vegans, right? Because they're not consuming meats, seafood, steak, chicken, shrimp, any kind of fish, they all have creatine. But if you're an athlete or if you're looking for those extra benefits, it would be really hard to get 5 grams, those extra 5 grams a day from food. You would have to eat a lot of meat, which is hard to even eat or digest. So that's where the supplementation comes from. But our body makes creatine, and if you eat meat and fish, you have a baseline of about 3 grams. Some people maybe more, 5 grams. But again, if you're vegetarian or vegan, that baseline is lower. So I would strongly recommend, for vegetarians and vegans, even more. Although I recommend for everyone. My mom is 69. I say, Mom, are you taking a creatine? My son is 11. I put on his smoothie every day. I take
I
it
creatine my
myself.
kids too.
Wow. Do you really?
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
load them up. Same dose I take every day.
I do a little bit less, but
What, I'm gonna what would you
They
do
don't know.
the point 1 per kilogram of body weight? Is that what you would do?
How are you
yeah,
gonna
that's
find
what
that
I
small of a
do.
number? Just load them up with 5 grams, bud. Get them going. They got mass genes in them.
Exactly. They don't need too much, man. We've been getting. Wait till you see the video I'm about to put out. They've been getting jacked in the basement. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
I honestly, it's one of those supplements that the safety is there, so many benefits across that I really suggest almost everyone to take it. Of course,
got it.
if you have any like kidney diseases or anything specific, then ask your doctor about it. But other than that, pretty safe and awesome supplement.
Yeah.
So that was our first one we wrote about. And we also looked into beta-alanine, and beta-alanine will help also in those high intensity type of workouts or stimulus, so anaerobic type of stimulus. And beta-alanine, the dosage is different, around 2 to 6 grams. And usually we divide those doses because of the tingling sensation. A lot of pre-workouts will have beta-alanine, but
I
the
love
goal
it.
of the goal of taking beta-alanine is to increase carnosine, and carnosine will help neutralizing the hydrogen ions, which creates soreness, right? So you can kind of perform a little bit longer because you're not as acidic or don't have that soreness. And beta-alanine, just like I said, anaerobic activities, most evidence shows benefits in workouts or training exercises lasting between 1 and 4 minutes. So not a sub-maximal 30-minute run.
For clarity there, I tend to think of soreness as like a next day thing, like DOMS type soreness, muscular damage leading to you feeling sore, 24 or 48 hours later. You're saying that beta alanine is the rate limiting substrate in the production of carnosine, which is an intramuscular buffer. And so as you build acidity throughout a set, if you're doing, a set of 20 squats, like your legs are going to be burning at at that final rep. If you are saturated with beta alanine and therefore carnosine, then it takes longer for that level of acidity to build up. And so maybe instead of doing 20, now you don't get to that level of fatigue or that level of acidity until rep 21 or 22 or 23. And so you can do more work before you hit failure on higher rep, more metabolic sets.
Right, correct. Absolutely. Yeah. So you end up increasing volume of work either by weight or reps, and that's where we usually see the benefits. Or, some studies done in rowers, like 1,000 meter rowing time. Subjects who took beta-alanine versus placebo finished that 1K faster because they were able to, push a little bit longer. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. You explain it better.
Thank you. So yeah, so if you're a very glycolytic athlete, where you're burning a lot of sugar and you're therefore producing a lot of acidity, you're a 800-meter sprinter, if you want to call it sprinting, but if you're in that kind of those middle domains where there's a lot of metabolic buildup, anything where you're probably going to throw up is a good way to put this. If you're a CrossFit athlete, as an example, you're going to be able to keep doing repetitions without having that level of acidity build up quite as fast. And so you can do more work in less time, which is kind of what, if we're talking CrossFit again, that's kind of what CrossFit's all about. So,
Or what about fighters, Doug? What about, I feel like that for MMA fighters, ground and pound, like that would be the thing.
oh yeah, MMA fighters, absolutely. If you're doing something very intense and that like anywhere from like 2 minutes to like 10 minutes, fighting can range longer than that, but that beta alanine works very well for those populations. Absolutely.
Yeah, agree 100%. The only issue with beta-alanine, do you guys take beta-alanine?
I do. I love the tingling.
You do?
I do.
That's funny.
I know. Like
Beta
I
alanine
love it.
junkie over there. He
Yeah,
just
I love the
his
like I feel
body,
like
makes
ants
you
are
feel
on my
good.
face.
Little
Right,
spiders
how
in your
are you supposed to
veins.
wake up in the morning without beta alanine in your system?
Yeah. So,
You're joking around here, but yeah, I don't take it as much these days as I used to. But
No.
I was an MMA fighter, and have done grappling and that type of thing for a long time. So, and then just regular CrossFit bodybuilding type thing. Something that beta alanine many times on and off over 20 years.
Once they downgraded the NO Explode formula, I was out.
yeah, seriously.
I can't handle this
Weak.
this non-life threatening NO Explode. I needed the
Exactly.
real deal.
Me too. I need to feel like I might need to call 911. Yeah.
The only way to get rid of that feeling, you got to go to the gym. You got to get it
Says the
out.
dude. Says the dude with like an 8-inch like rip in my leg right now.
The first time my older brother took beta alanine, he didn't really know what it was. He just knew
Oh,
it was supposed to be a supplement you're supposed to take, and this is like 15 years ago, maybe more. And so he bought some and didn't know that it would be tingly and didn't know how much to take. And so opened up the bottle. There was no scooper, or he couldn't find the scooper or whatever. And so it said just one scoop. And back then, like sometimes the scoopers in beta alanine are 1 gram scoopers. They're very tiny.
yeah, yeah.
He just stuck a spoon in there and just like took
Oh,
a spoonful.
Went after it.
So I don't know what that is, 15, 20
Oh,
or something. And just like
Yikes.
took a spoonful or two or whatever he did, chugged it down, and then left to go to the gym. And he said about halfway there, he was driving. All of a sudden, his whole face was just like tingling on fire. He started to scratch his head, and he didn't know what the hell was going on. He was starting to panic, and like
oh
ended up
man.
like pulling over in a grocery store parking lot and like stopped driving. Even he was like, because he didn't know what was happening to him.
Oh man. That's
Wow.
messed up.
did he
Yeah.
blame you?
No, he definitely called me and after the fact and was like, dude, like, well, I didn't know what was happening. What, like, is that normal? And I was like, oh, if you take a spoonful of it, it's probably normal. Sure. I don't know what it feels like to take 20 grams, but it's probably not pleasant. It's a lot.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the tingling. So if I'm trying to, I don't know, get ready for a tournament, which I haven't in a couple of years, but I'll force myself, but I don't enjoy the tingling at all. Like it's just, yeah, weird. So
Yeah, I know. I'm
it's
weird.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
is that
so
supplement that causes tingling? There's a funny story that people take it not for blood pressure, but for come on. I'll think of it.
beta-alanine?
No, there's another supplement that causes tingling. Come on, it's like I just,
Oh.
you guys don't remember? I have to think of it. It's a funny story though.
Any of the pre-workouts from back in the day. It's like
Some people take it to before they go tanning.
Oh, like niacin or like
Niacin. Okay,
Oh,
like vitamins do that.
niacin,
let me
B3.
let me tell
Oh,
you a funny story.
Yeah.
We gave a guy a niacin supplement once who was going to tan. He was a football player with us at Appalachian State, but he was getting ready for this bodybuilding competition, so he's tanning. And we said, "Yeah, this will help you tan." But literally all of us knew it was a high dose. So
Mm.
we knew it was gonna make him feel like large ants were under his skin. So we all stood by the door and waited. And then, like, maybe literally like 2 minutes later, you start to hear him move around. And then you hear the tanning booth door fling open and he's come running out naked screaming. He thought he was dying. It was the funniest thing. Anyway, like, I don't recommend doing that for your kids at home, but so there you go.
yeah. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Gosh, we live in my college days today.
So we
Creatine.
got beta-alanine. Are we wrapped on beta-alanine or are we moving on?
E- yeah, if you guys don't have questions, the next one we talked about that we chose as our top three now is nitrates. So nitrates, now we're helping other energy system, which is oxygen. So endurance type of workouts. So nitrates will help with prolonged endurance type of activities. Dosage around 300 to 600 milligrams. We don't have a lot of studies on nitrates. I think in our review, we could find maybe 9 or 10. But you find usually nitrates in beetroot juice or supplements that are specific, like beetroot powders. And idea is to take 2 to 3 hours before exercising, which makes it a little challenging sometimes when I'm programming for clients or athletes who work out at 7 a.m. I'm like, you have to wake up at 5 to take it. So
Yeah.
it's not great, but even if they take it at 6 a.m. and they start working out at 7, endurance, so they're probably working out for an hour or more, they will probably feel some benefits throughout their training. But nitrate will convert into nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is a vasodilator, right? So it improves oxygen delivery, blood flow and oxygen delivery, so we can work out for longer in this oxygen type of energy system. So more endurance type of conditions.
What
Yeah.
about a guy who's well, there's a guy I know. Actually, it's me for sure. But my goal this year is to really improve my VO2 max. And so, and like I've spent my whole life perfecting one energy system, creatine phosphate. It's been, how much can I lift or how fast can I lift a certain amount? Anyway, so now my goal is I want to become more like Anders, or at least, more like Doug, And so, but like, would you think it would help me, or for someone like me, just don't worry about that yet, or would it help someone like me?
Well, how long is your endurance bout now, your endurance training? Are you going for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at least?
Well, once I get, okay,
4.
so full disclosure, I'm recovering from a hip replacement, but prior to and now, it'll become more and more. Yes, it'll be, I will at least spend 2 times a week at above 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I would take 2 times a week then, 2 hours before you do your endurance type of training. But I would recommend that you're doing at least 30 minutes of it. Yeah.
Perfect.
So prolonged endurance. You got this, Travis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mash, your life is going to change, buddy. It's going to be so
Yes.
awesome.
I
All that
can't, I
blood,
mean,
all the blood just starts moving so efficiently. You just feel amazing when you when you practice.
oh, so it's not good if it just feels all clumped up right around my heart,
I don't think it's supposed to be that thick.
Like oil's not good. I'm just kidding.
What? Just looks like molasses.
Yeah, yeah. I always heard the slower the better. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm trying to get more for real, trying to become more like you guys.
Sweet.
I would assume when people hear nitrates, that doesn't really trigger like supplement thoughts. They probably maybe me, but on the bacon that you buy at the store, everything says nitrate free, as if that's not something you should be putting into your body. What's the difference?
Yeah, I actually am not sure. I never thought of that, but this nitrate comes from beets. So the nitrate that you're talking about is probably a
Yeah,
chemical
that's
structure
yeah.
that is not the same root
I'm looking at
as
those
nitrate.
signs, super beats. Like, yeah, I'm looking at all
Yeah.
the
Oh, look at him. He's already
Jocko.
buying one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get jacked. I mean, trying to get jacked in a running type of way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it's also like nitrites, which I think comes from like celery as well. I don't know if that is in the same category, but it's always like nitrates and nitrites are the two that I see on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've also wondered that myself. That was a very good question.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have a full
Especially because there's
answer.
if there's only, like a dozen papers written about them in the performance world. I feel like that's a piece of this that, um, if it is widely accepted, and I say widely, like, if you were to compare like the number of studies to creatine to the dozen or so on nitrates, that uh, that's a
All
large
right,
delta, and
here's
it would
what
be interesting to dig into, like, one, the differences, if it is some sort of like chemical
Here's a
compound
quick
that,
search. It is. She
yeah,
was right. It's like good nitrates refer to nitrates naturally found in vegetables, like beets, leafy greens, which can be found, benefits for heart health.
yeah,
While bad nitrates are more added nitrates found in processed meats, which can be linked to cancer. And so in large quantities. So yeah, it's more of a structure. So
yeah,
yeah, the
Yeah.
ones that are you're gonna find in beets and the leafy greens is very good for you. So
yeah.
Hmm.
Naturally occurring. Yes.
right,
It's
right.
probably naturally occurring versus like a chemical processed molecule.
Yeah, meant to help, probably meant to conserve meat longer and making it bad. Yeah.
Mhm.
I see something that says you can pair it with vitamin C and kind of ameliorate any potential negative effect of developing, good God, where to go? Nitrosamines is like the compound that was the concern about having too much nitrate content in your food, because that can be carcinogenic. But it also says that, let me find one more sec here. Let's see. Research suggests that the benefits of beetroot, including its ability to increase nitric oxide production, which is what you're talking about, generally outweigh the potential risks when consumed in moderation as part of a balanced diet.
Got it.
Mhm.
So the upside's better than the downside, is what it sounds like.
And just don't be stupid with it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And right. Yeah. We have to think about the context too, like the dosage that we're talking about here. 300 milligrams to 600 milligrams. It's probably nothing close to what the studies that found that any
Yeah.
correlation with cancer, kind of like sweeteners. But
Yeah,
anyways, not to get off
like
topic.
it'll be like a rat study, and it'll be like 1,000 times what a normal human would consume in any realistic situation that gives the rat cancer, and then it's all of a sudden this bad thing to eat when the dosage is like nowhere near what you would ever get to.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot. And just looking more scientifically too, now I'm seeing like it's nitrates versus nitrites, and like the sometimes enzymes in your mouth can cause it, but mainly what they're talking about is really nitrites being added by manufacturers to preserve meat. So really,
Yeah.
what she's talking about is, unless I guess you probably took tons and tons and had some kind of enzyme in your mouth, but other than
Even
that,
if even
it's
if
good for
the
you.
compound is the same, the total load to uh,
Yeah,
preserve meat is going to
I'm
be
taking it. So
much, much
Yeah.
more than supplementing it with
right,
intention.
right.
I take it too on Sundays when I play volleyball, so I can last for 2.5, 3 hours. So I take it myself.
I might take it
One.
before a session with my wife too. Just
Or
kidding.
blood flow.
But I'm not.
Travis Mass is
Two
alive
hours,
for
buddy.
Yeah. At least 2
2
hours.
hours.
At least 3 hours. Don't you guys know about the 3 hour date night? No, it's just me. Okay, I'll leave that alone then.
a different podcast.
Very different one.
That's on the in the Dizzle podcast, right? Yeah, so talking about endurance, caffeine So what was our top four supplement here? And I'm just talking about the supplements. There's no specific order of top one, top two, just the fourth one, caffeine. Caffeine has been well studied as well. We know the benefits of caffeine for reaction time, for speed, for power, for cognitive function, but it can also improve endurance and power output. And the dosage for caffeine, if you're looking for those benefits in terms of sports performance, right? 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram, about 30 to 60 minutes before your session. Okay, so let's say my volleyball players, I'll calculate this, start on the lower one. If it's someone who's not used to it, you would start with the 3 milligrams per kilogram, 30 to 60 minutes before. And if you don't see any benefits, maybe you increase slowly. Make sure you find kind of like the ideal dosage that doesn't give you the jitters, right? But it is, I mean, a supplement that we all consume daily, most of us, right, consume daily for focus, reaction time, cognitive, or just to stay awake.
What's the difference in like supplementing with caffeine via like coffee versus like taking a caffeine supplement?
Yeah, so pure coffee, just take the caffeine pill. We don't see differences. Actually, we do a lot of studies comparing energy drinks with the matched amount of caffeine. We did one last year, which we compared the Gorilla energy drink with the matched amount of caffeine, but just in a pill. And then we did some performance measurements, like hand grip strength, push up. We did like a mood test, and we did like a reaction time test, and we didn't see any differences between taking the energy drink or the matched amount of caffeine. So that was an interesting study because energy drinks have so many other components, right? That sometimes we don't even know, like, are there any synergistic effects of having all those herbs together with caffeine or with green tea? Is that better than just taking an espresso shot? And according to that one study, of course, it's limited. It's just a few subjects in one study. So, but if you like the energy drink because you like the taste and whatever, you don't like coffee, drink the energy drink in that case. But if you are looking for more benefits, energy drink will give you more benefits than just drinking coffee. Our studies show that that's not the case. So, yeah.
Put the four lug or the what's the one that you like there, Mash? Monsters?
No, no more. No, I'm done. I haven't had an energy drink in a long time. I'm like,
Proud of you, buddy.
I'm on the health kick. I'm trying to be like you, man. I'm telling you.
I used
You're
to
my
love
new idol. I did.
You hear that? That's a slight dig there, guys. He's coming for
What?
me. No, I'm just messing with you.
No. I will never reach your level of fitness. But I want to try to.
I used to love watching you roll up to the gym at like 9 a.m. when we'd meet you there and have like four of those monsters just ready to rock for the day.
No mas.
Ready
Oh
to
my
get
God.
jacked with a bunch of 19-year-olds.
No mas. No, I'm gonna do that anymore. So, but I'll think, I'll drink coffee, caffeine, pure
Yeah.
caffeine. That's it.
When you're talking about the kind of like the spiders crawling through your veins feeling, I can drink coffee all morning long, no issues. It makes me happy. It smells delicious. There's the ritualistic, there's the energy. There's just something amazing about coffee.
That's my wife.
You
Yeah.
give me one sip of a caffeine like Monster or any of that, and all of a sudden my body's like, that's not real caffeine. Where'd that come from? And it's like that creepy crawly feeling is just my whole body. I can't even get near them, even if they're not like monsters and they're like lower key ones. My mom drinks these like Celsius things, and I had one the other day, and it was like, ah!
Bro, the
Like,
Celsius ones are super strong. And
it's like
it's what they pair
crawling out
things
of your
with.
body.
Yeah. Celsius are Mac Daddy energy drinks. Even though the amount might not be, it's what they pair that with. So,
Yeah, whatever
yeah.
this stuff is. What was the one that they banned back in the day, like the Fedra?
Oh yeah,
That one was even
yeah.
like
I
more
love that,
mellow than I
actually.
feel like
Yeah.
that Celsius made me feel. And I don't ever drink them. That was like the most recent one, but I could have a Fedra and it'd be fine. It was like a little more wired, but
speed,
You
something.
just needed to take a little bit more and get used to it.
I was in high school and I was trying to tell my mom that me and a bunch of the other football players were taking ephedra, and I said amphetamines,
Oh,
but I said it in such a casual way where I was like, "Yeah, mom, fucking all the football players take amphetamines. I do it all the time." Like I wasn't hiding anything. I wasn't like trying to be weird. I was just letting her know, and you could see she just like didn't even know how to respond to that level of honesty coming out.
oh, my mom
But
would have punched me right in the nose. Is what my mom would have done. Yeah.
it took me like 5 minutes before I realized I was saying the wrong word. And then you should have seen the relief on her face. She was like, "Oh my, oh God, okay,
Dude,
okay,
that's how you do
Oh,
it, though, man.
take the
That's how
ephedra." She was like,
you
"Fine, like whatever, ephedra, great."
start with
that's a great
medication
way
and
to.
back it down.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Mom,
Yeah.
I
Smart.
got it wrong. Just ephedra. It'll be off the market in a year for killing
Yeah.
people, but it's better than amphetamines.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
dude, my little brother nailed that one time. I was in Ireland. This is actually when me and Andy both lived in Ireland together. We were juniors in college. My little brother came to visit us. Or sorry, my parents came to visit us. My little brother was back home at the house, like hanging out with no parents around for a week or two.
Huh.
And this is
Yeah.
2004, right? And so he ends up throwing a party and got in trouble, like the cops showed up type of thing. And you got some minor MIP type something happened. He got like a ticket, basically. Not a big deal. But he wrote this big letter to my parents over email or maybe even over Facebook, which we had just gotten back then, and had this big story about like what happened and like just like really overplayed the whole thing with like people got in a fight and this guy got hospitalized and they thought he was gonna be in a coma and he's like he's like in big trouble now and his friend got arrested and it's like on and on and on and on. And then Psycho the back was like, nah, just kidding, threw a party. Cops showed up. They gave me a ticket. No big deal. By the time my
Smart.
parents got to the end of the letter, they were like, "Oh, good. Oh, just a ticket for underage drinking at a party at my house. It's fine."
Smart man. Wow.
Nailed it. He nailed
The
it.
art of the deal right there.
Yeah.
Go
Strategies.
huge right off the bat, then get exactly what you want.
Barely even got in trouble. They're just
Yeah.
at the end of it, they're just like, "Oh, we're just happy you're safe."
Yeah.
That's funny.
Last one, Flavia. What do you got?
Protein.
Protein.
Protein here.
powders?
Yeah, so protein, I know there is this discussion why you have it as a supplement. Here we're saying extra protein, right? So we're just talking about protein in terms of the ergogenic effects of protein. So my friend, mentor, Dr. Antonio is one of the biggest researchers in protein, especially high protein, right? So I'm a little bit biased towards a higher protein by working with him and reading his research, but we chose protein because of all the so many benefits that we have with protein, and because we feel that we still need to get the point across of how important it is to have a little bit higher intake of protein that most people have, right? So protein as a supplement here, we're suggesting 20 to 40 grams of high quality protein post exercise, or spread across 4 meals. So having at least 20 to 40 grams on each meal. So getting to that, close to that 1 gram per pound of protein. So many benefits, right? But recovery, everything, blah, 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 that you guys probably know. And we suggested whey protein is as the preferred method for this, supplement powder type of protein, because of the leucine content, rapid digestion. But of course, if you don't consume dairy or if you're vegetarian and vegan, you can go for a plant-based protein as well, aiming for that 20 to 40 grams.
The perfect recipe, by the way, of protein powder, Optimum Nutrition. Same formula for the last 30 years. Just the best. Just saying. I love it.
Me too.
1.5 scoops chocolate, 1.5 scoops vanilla. You're in the like 60. If you go too much vanilla, not that good. All chocolate, too much. If you can figure it out how to play it in the middle, and
Swirl, baby. Swirl.
with whole milk. the whole milk changes the game.
Yeah.
It's significantly better if you use milk over water too. And milk, whole milk specifically, perfectly macroed. It's an amazing product. Plus, likely if you're getting it from like your regular grocery store, comes with lots of steroids that they gave with those cows, so it's very,
Awesome.
very good on growing. Lots of muscles.
Awesome.
Now that I'm old, just so you guys know, I train in the morning, 6:30 a.m. I hammer one of those as soon as I get home every day while I'm
Who needs
training.
HRT, baby? Just drink whole milk.
Whole milk. Especially if you're really trying to get large, chocolate milk. Game on.
No doubt. Look, Coach Flavia, what are your recommendations for total protein per day? What did you say?
Yeah, so it depends on your type of activity, right? But for a general person, maybe doing a combination of strength work, endurance work, just trying to be healthy, I recommend 1 gram per pound. So
What if you're someone trying to add muscle, trying to be an athlete? What would you say then?
yeah, we could go a little bit higher. Depends on the other macronutrients, and the whole puzzle of calculating like what are the carb needs, total energy needs. But I'm biased towards a higher protein.
Higher, yeah.
I'm
Me too.
doing myself. So as an athlete, I'll go around the 2 grams, as long as it's not an endurance athlete where I may have taken some energy from carbohydrates.
Right.
1 to 1.2 grams.
1 to 1. I totally agree with just because of, just the satiety benefits, maybe intensity, increasing the internal temperature, possibly. So like,
Yeah, thermogenesis
yeah,
is real. So when we do high protein studies, people come back to us and like, oh my God, I'm so hot all the time. What are you doing to me? And some people drop out of the studies even because of that. Dr. Antonio is known for doing that study with 3.4 grams, if I can recall well, 3.4 grams per kilogram, which is pretty high,
about
right?
two.
Like
Yeah, it's about
if
2 grams per pound almost.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the double. So try doing that for a week and let me know.
I
It's hard.
did. As a powerlifter, I did. Charles Poligan was one of my like mentors, and so I was very high on the protein side. So
Yeah.
I get like to a pound or like 300 a day. And I was like, I can't, this is just too much. Just smashing a pound of meat every single time.
I was
And
definitely well over that. It was definitely 2 per pound, and so 400 plus.
400 is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Eating into your job.
What?
I said eating turns into your job. You're just
It wasn't my. Yeah, it's trying to be the
all
best.
day.
Yeah.
Anytime someone's like, I just eat too much, I'm like, you want to get 300 grams of protein and you get after it.
Yeah.
That's how you eat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to decide, it seems much better to overdo it than to underdo it. So I think giving people like a number that's like even slightly above what they actually need, just to ensure they actually hit the number they need, is psychologically oftentimes something that can be beneficial.
Agreed.
Yeah, Doug, I think we did a show, man, it's probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I want to say that we were in San Francisco up somewhere, and they were talking about trying to find the upper limits. And I don't think it's first off ever been found where too much protein gets unhealthy. But having all college kids just like literally drinking protein shakes, as many of them as they could all day long. I don't remember. Maybe it was when you were doing the virtual reality boxing when that was like brand new at San Francisco, University of San Francisco. But I remember that study, or I remember them doing that paper, or I don't even know if it got published, but them talking about it being like, yeah, that sounds like a fun one until you've eaten 3 pounds of meat and drinking 5 protein shakes in a day, and that's brutal.
Well, Andy's been a huge proponent of higher protein counts. So
oh yeah, Dan's like sometimes 3x. Like
my man,
he's
jacked.
tell him to his face, but he's pretty lean. That's a big man to be.
Is a jack dude.
What I tell him to his face, he's a little soft and needs to get after it. But
3:30 a.m. workouts. I see it. It's crazy.
3 a.m. That's right.
3:30 a.m. I've seen him several times posting it. My bro, go to bed. When you got to sleep
I
soon,
hope he
right?
takes a nap. I just hope. I almost messaged him another day and said, "Do you take a nap?" Like when he posted the study of the 90-minute nap. I was
Yeah,
like, I
you
hope you
can.
do that to yourself because
Those
yeah,
posts tell you where he's at in life.
yes,
That's
I
right.
what
do
he's
this
learning
after
about
it.
on his own
He had the
performance.
one
After
about
it.
the forest, right? Walking around the forest, and then you see him with the golden retriever walking.
Yeah.
That's him hallucinating. That's what he's doing. He's hallucinating.
So, Flavia, where can the
Yeah.
people find you?
At coach.flavia on Instagram.
Hold up, say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Of course, the landscape guy just showed up here. Why
You're
not,
the
right?
best.
Comes like once a month. And at coach.flavia on
There you go.
Instagram. And I also have a website, but I'm not sure if it's up to date. Coachflavia.com. Yeah.
I don't know many people's website, their personal ones that are actually up to date. I had to just shut mine down. It's like this thing is so old and I have no interest in updating it. It's like from like
Yeah.
businesses before
Luckily,
recent businesses. So, Coach Travis Mash.
Yeah.
Mashley.com. Luckily, I got a good team now, thanks to all my friends at Rise Indoor Sports. So they really hooked me up. So read all my articles at Jim Aware, of course.
There you go. Douglas E. Larson.
Bet, very cool. As Andrew said, Doug C. Larson on Instagram. I go on there on occasion these days. Flavia, thank you for coming on the show. You're doing a great job here at Rapping. I
That
was
was awesome.
hang out and talk with you. So appreciate you being here.
Thank you
Fantastic
guys.
team.
Thank you so much.
I'm Anders Varner at Anders Varner, and we are Barbell Shrugged at Barbell_Shrugged. And make sure you get over to RapidHealthReport.com. That is where you can find all things lab, lifestyle, performance analysis, testing. And if you want Flavia to write your nutrition program, it's the best place to come and learn from her. And you can access all of that over at RapidHealthReport.com. Friends, see you guys next week.